Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's your boy Professor Pippett's back with another analysis. Um, Currently trying to run the Instagram thing at the same time. Just to give people a little bit another way to check in. Um, First section last week was not the best. I mean, depending on what you was watching, depending on how you like to get in, depending on your trading style, depending on your risk to reward, depending on a lot of different things. I had to clap a few times, but when we talk about that later. Couple different things. Looking at this week, I did take some of the pairs off. Took AJ off. Took CAD JPY off. Looking at taking off USD CAD simply because I do recognize that the volume slash momentum is starting to slow down, and I would like to take the time to kind of just focus on my main pairs, which kind of at this point are UJ, GJ, GU, and AU. I mostly like the JPYs because I trade the Asian session. During the Asian session, the JPYs sometimes do give out some gas, and you are able to find some very profitable setups. I trade the Asian session simply because that's the free time that I have to come to the market, analyze the charts, and get busy. So, um, most of my setups, most of my analysis, most of my ideas are all centered around the Asia session and possibilities of how I can get in and take advantage of the market going into the London. Sometimes I will trade in London. I haven't traded it recently. I don't really ever trade an NY session. But yeah, starting off with the DXY as always. We got notes down here. Weekly is bullish. Next structure around 97.80 to 97.60, which is way up here. Um, if you pull out to the higher time frames, you can definitely see um, why I have that marked up. Think all this, price action right now currently is making higher highs and higher lows. And wanted to see how we get back up into this level of zone right over here. Um, Previously, price action from the left came down, started out in this area, took a little break, then it impulsed bearishly back into the lows. So right now we're slowly but surely approaching those zones again. I would expect the same thing over on this side. Price action getting to those levels, to those zones, slow down, chop around, and potentially break out back to the upside if demand is stronger than supply. That's a big if. Right now, demand is pretty strong for the US dollar, for the DXY. And if you add the analysis back on, we can see what I've already seen. Weekly bullish structure, next structure around 97.80 to 97.60 was right up here. As I said, daily price action is bullish. Structures are not clean and clear. Let's see. Yeah. Um, what I could see was price making higher highs and higher lows, but definitively, you could say this is the higher low area that gave you a new high. But if you try to capture this higher low, I don't like to mark this higher low because this is where price actually currently is. So if I was to say this was my high that price action is reacting from, this is my higher low, we already right there for the most part. So um we go down to the smaller time frames is where it kind of conflicts. So that's why I have it marked the way I have it. Bearish continuation zone, meaning that price action is bullish all the way from this point. It's just 4 weeks ago. Um, Price action is bullish all the way from down here. So as we continue, if price action goes back bearish, we want to see a break of 95, 398 first, and then you just watch how you would have lower lows and lower highs coming back into this level. And then once we break this level, then the trend would be confirmed as a bearish trend. Even though coming from this level, you start seeing higher highs and higher lows. Um, the intraday trend could potentially be bearish, but the higher time frames will still be bullish all the way up to this point down here. So point number 3, possible double bottom around 98 or 96.20, which is this level here. Between 96.20 96.25, new low created. So would have to see a close below 95, 398, which is a continuation sell zone level to confirm bearish trend. Hopping over to the 1 hour. I don't usually trade trend lines. I don't trade trend lines. I just kind of have this on here as confluence to see if Price action closed below this first blue line right down here. I definitely would expect it to come back to this trend as the market has, laid that out from previous structure. It's just one of the things that I picked up, over time as far as trading and watching the charts. It was something that was introduced to me earlier in my trading days. I kind of stepped away from it, but I've always had it in the back of my mind, to be able to put that back on there, those trend lines, and to be able to use it as a confluence. If we get below there, kind of look for a retest here, and then expect or anticipate price action to come back down to some of these levels over here. So as far as my setup, daily trend bullish, Forex pattern making higher highs and higher lows. 1H setup, bullish, could continue buy above 26,243. So continuation buys, what I would be looking for if the DXY is going to continue bullish from price action where it is, we will open up over here. I want to see a break above that level, come back and retest it and stay above this level. If price action dips below this level and close below that level, then I don't have a setup. This continuation buy zone is all based off of price maintaining this level, maintaining this. It would have been a resistance, now turning to support, maintaining that, and then pushing back bullish. If that happens, then I will get active back all the way back up in here. I'll try to hold. And let's see what we're looking like as far as range. This DXY, it's 141 pips, which is not bad. Or 141 ticks, however you want to count it, however they count it. That's how I look at 141 pips. So I would love to get active on that. If not, and it wants to short, then I would wait, price action come back down, break below the little trend line I got going on type deal right there, retest that trend line, come here, kind of stall out, At this point, I'll probably already begin some shorts, but this would be the confirmation type deal I would be looking for back into this level and see how we hold up on that SR flip that we got marked over with, this black box right here. So yeah, that'll be the plan for the DXY. We break above 96,243, get active to the top side. If we close below, this trend line here, we even got a structure here. If you say this is a high, low, higher high, potential higher low, no new higher high. This would potentially over here be a level that I would be confirming the shorts because this would be the level that pushed us back into the high. So if price action broke below that level, that would mean supply has become greater than demand and the trend could be shifting to the downside. So like I said, it all depends on how you view the charts. It all depends on how you trade. It all depends on your psychology, how you think you like to get in, that sort of thing. Hopping over to UJ. Oh, that's not very good charts. See what we got here. Price action extremely bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. What I didn't like about UJ last week was, as you can see from this area over here, we pushed into the highs. So this will be our major higher low that pushes into the highs, kind of consolidate, chopped around a little bit. We're still respecting the high, we're still respecting the low, and then we close below. Once I saw this price action, I definitely thought we was going to the downside. So I was setting up for shorts. So anything on lower time frames that gave me a possible short entry, I was taking. But what happened was it pushed into the highs. And I was like, oh, what in the whole flip flop? So seeing how price action bullishly imposed and then bearishly imposed right back behind it, I kind of look at this as a fake out. But it kind of messes up the psychology because this would be now your extreme higher low, and then this would be your extreme higher high. And yeah, that's just funky simply because we broke bullish structure back over here. So when you add the analysis back onto it, come down to the 4H, you see what's cracking. So as of right now, we got a break structure over here. As far as that downtrend, this breaker structure was bullish. So we just changed that color to blue. Simply because price broke up bullish, blue for bullish, and then you got a high, higher low, new higher high. Price actually came back down, impulse to the downside now, depending on who you ask. Me personally, I kind of saw this as your extreme level. As far as if price broke this level, then you're now back going into possibly a shift of a bearish trend. And what kind of confirmed that for me last week was price actually broke this level, closed below, and then did not produce a new high. Some other people might be looking at it from this level here to say, okay, this is the level that pushed you into the highs. This is a demand that broke the structure, that pushed you into the high. So maybe this is your level as far as price action needing to break to continue bearish. Either way, we are at that level on the lower time frames. You will see a close below that level. And the prettiest thing is all this clean range right here. So if price action, chops around, kind of give you that complex correction like you got right here, chops around, push back into that 1H order block, I would like to get busy to the downside. As you break the structure, now you're making higher highs and higher lows. Came back and closed below this little area here, which I guess I don't know. It was very conflicting for me last week. I was kind of lost. I didn't know for sure what to really mark up and how to really view this because, like I said, this closed below this level here. And I guess you can say this level pushed you through, that previous level there, but I don't know. Right now, we can only talk about what's going on now. Those purchase trades, playouts have already been done, closed. If you're still holding good, if you're not, then we're moving on to the future. The notes I got here: daily trend, bullish, forward pattern, higher highs and higher lows. 1/8 set up, kind of delicate situation. Price hasn't broken any previous bullish structure. We're currently making lower lows and lower highs on the 1/8 high, low, lower high, lower low. So, like I said, if so you can already see, well, not really. The lowest point over here, price action went through it, but it didn't close below it. So, yeah, I would like to wait and see if price action comes up and exhausts around 114, 330. Yeah, 330. Potentially take shorts back from that level. If we just come out and sell immediately back down to this 113, 587, 113, 691 area, potentially could be a double bottom to push us back into that 1 hour order block and then cause us to crash. So two possible scenarios: price come up, open up that way, and then just crash, or we open up bearish, round, push that way, and then go bearish. Either way, for the most part, if either one of those scenarios play out, I'll be looking for short from around there. If price action comes open and just resume bullish, I would look for a break and retest above the continuation buy zone area, and then take the buys as we exit back out through the top. Three possible scenarios, depending on when you watch the charts, depending on how you get in, depending on how you get active, you could possibly catch some pips there. I wouldn't necessarily try to take it directly from the market open. I would at least let it play out to at least 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before anything, simply because, you at least would have 2 hours worth of data showing you where price action kind of want to go. And then because of the time of year it is, the end of the month, close to the holiday season, it might not be a lot of volume or momentum in the market enough for you to be able to really get active and take it and have a proper setup, proper risk reward. So just something to keep your eyes out on, keep your eyes open for, and see what price action want to do. DJ. Uh, whoa. All right, so on GJ, we were previously bullish, coming up into about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. We had a breaking structure up here on higher time frames, and the price action has been printing bearish structure ever since. 2 weeks ago, price came down to these low areas here, started consolidating. Last week, we had a breaking structure right over here, created a new high, potential higher low that did not give you a new high, and then it just melted back down into the lows. Looking at this, what I potentially would expect is there's a lot of liquidity building under this zone. So price action could come down, manipulate that zone, and then push back into the highs, or it could just keep shorting. Because if you look at it from a daily standpoint, you did have a breaker structure here. You did have the breaker structure here, but overall, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, breaker structure over here, but potentially could be a lower high to this level and could potentially keep melting down and keep going into the extreme lows. So it all depends on how you view the charts. If you still consider this bullish impulse to the upside still to be active and you feel like the demand is still greater than supply, then this could be your 50 to 70% retracement. Um, Actually, I think this was the 50. Price reacted from the 50 and then melted and then came back to retest the 50 and was not able to get back above. So it all depends on how you view the charts. It all depends on your psychology. But my psychology is I'm looking at this as bearish. I'm expecting it to short. And I would like to stick with the short bias until we have another bullish breaker structure. So I would need price action to chop around, get back up over here, or break above, break and retest above this continuation buy zone. Keep getting active to the high side. What I did notice is price action did this big ass bearish impulse to the downside, but we didn't break the low, the extreme low, looking left. So keep that in mind. Notes that we left daily trend bullish / retesting Forex pattern, making lower lows, lower highs. 1 hour setup, choppy price action to the upside. Structure is bearish, probably the best way for proper short setup. Already hit the 50 retest from the bearish impulse. Right here. Forward pattern, making lower lows, lower highs. 1 hour setup, choppy price action to the upside would be this right here. Probably best to wait for proper short setup. So already hit the 50 already hit 50% retest from the bearish impulse will be this price action right here. So as this impulse to the downside, this retracement has already pushed into the 50% mark. So like I said, price could melt, double bottom here, push back into the highs, or it could just melt. It could melt, grab liquidity, and then push back to the highs, or it could just melt and continue to make lower lows and lower highs. You just have to see. What's cracking once market opens. What's good with you, bank robber? Just doing a little weekly analysis, weekend analysis, weekend review on what's cracking with the market. Right now, looking at GU, as we can see, price action has been in a downtrend, came down here, had a breaking structure to the upside, still respecting this previous lower high that pushed us into the lows. So this could be the corrective price action, respecting this lower high, potentially getting ready to short off again. Don't really know that for sure just yet, but last week price action was pretty much all bullish until Friday. You had this big ass impulse to the downside, but as always, when I see big impulses, I'm immediately looking left to see if we broke any structure. And if getting active on the 4-hour chart, you do see this level here, but I don't really, let's see how I look on the 1H. Just counting off higher highs and higher lows. You got a high here, low, potential high somewhere up in here, high low, and you got a high here. Retracement does not create a new low. And then, so, you can potentially count that as a breaking structure to the downside, but from your higher time frame analysis, your price action, we didn't break any extreme levels back in over here. So I would look and wait and see what price action he's going to give you, because this could potentially just turn to a big ass range and just price action chop back and forth between these levels here. To be confident, I would like to see continuation buys above 1.35, 145. Hold on 1 second. For sales, I would like to see price action get below 1.35, 33,970, and then get active for the short to the downside. Let's see what kind of notes we got left on this here. Daily trends bearish, 4H pattern making higher highs and higher lows. 1 hour setup stuck in a nasty ass range. So just wait. Yeah, I would agree with that. Weekly is bearish, no wick to fill. 4H making higher highs, complex correction, momentum still to the downside. 4H did give a breaker structure, impulse moves still to the downside. So overall, this could potentially, like I said, turn to consolidation range. So it'd be best to wait because, yeah, you don't really know which way price action wants to go. So flipping over to AU, one of the things we caught the shorts from over here last week, all the way down to the bottom, 146 pips. One of the things I was noticing with AU, momentum from 2 weeks ago, 176 pips to the downside. Momentum 2 weeks ago, 154 pips to the downside. And then last week, momentum 146 pips to the downside. So if price action is going to continue to get active, we got the bearish continuation zone over there. What we're looking for is a break and retest of the continuation sell zone below 72,271. If it does, what is level? Let's see. 1 hour. Let's go level up under that. Okay, I can see with the man. So potentially, if we get the sales below 72,271, about a 34 pip range to the next structure, and then below there is just off to the races. So if it continues to match the momentum moves that we had previously in the week, then possibly somewhere, all the way back down to the 70s level. But it's risky to try to take a trade set up based off of what price pushed out in the past. So I would definitely just wait for it to wait for price action to open up and see what it gives you. You got a demand zone way down here. So that could be what price action is targeting or what price action is going. You never know for sure, especially on the weekend when the market is not open yet. So, but that would line up with, what price action has given out previously. So let's see, weekly is bearish with a weekly wick to fill. Where is my wick to fill at? It's bearish with a wick to fill. I don't see the rest about the weekly. Close this off. Here. Okay, so I would have been talking about this right here. And basically, when I look for wick fill, I look for price action to fill at least 50% of the wick that is unfilled, possibly orders are still down there. If this candle here stops out about 50%, 50% of this wick, let's see how it looks daily. So we'll be looking at this area here. We stop off about 50% of that, this would be the wick on the weekly, then we would look to see if there is a bullish impulse coming from that level. If it is, then potentially got buys up to the top side. If it's not, then you already know, take it to the downside. Back. Trading plan. Daily trend is bearish, 4 hour pattern, 4 hour chart making 4 lower lows and lower highs, 1 hour setup. See if we can get a retest of the continuation zone, a possible short from there. So looking for looking for a break of this level, possibly stall out there, retest here, and would like to get active on some shorts from right up in here. So look for price to come all the way back down to that demand zone, looking left. So potential setup there. We took this trade last week because price action was stalling out at the previous lower high from the 4 hour chart. And yeah, as soon as price action started throwing those exhaustion candles there, this quick so you can see a little bit better. But as soon as price action starts stalling out right up here, I entered immediately, and then that thing just took off for me. So yeah, we'll see if price action comes out and gives us some type of setup like this. And if it does, then you already know. If it comes out bullish, I would simply be looking for it to stall out in this level here first. If it does not. Since we are majorly bearish, I wouldn't necessarily take these buys, but if you've been in the market for a little bit, you know how to get active, then that could be potentially a little setup there. I wouldn't recommend it because it's only 24, 25 pips. So you would definitely have to be on the charts and be paying attention very closely to put a stop to break even and potentially take some profits off the table quickly, especially on about 10 to 15 pips because you're pushing back into that zone, which could, price action could stall out there and then react back to the downside. So definitely have to pay attention to that. UCAD, I wasn't real happy trying to analyze UCAD. It is making higher highs and higher lows, but when you look left, is since price action has had a break of structure, mentally all of these are just reaction zones as far as um, structures where price could possibly run into and get active from. So it was I don't know why, but it was definitely difficult for me to mark up my zones on this for some reason. I wasn't liking the way it looked with all these damn wicks. All this choppiness back and forth, the impulses, yeah, they are strong to the downside, but you do have a lot of wicks, within those impulses. And you go to a smaller time frame, um, so you got a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high here, lower low, lower high. Then so you would have to be for the most part guessing which area you actually want it to be your effective lower highs and lower lows. And then once you come back over here and you look left, you say, okay, well, price pushed back into this area and gave you a big ass reaction to the downside, but we didn't break any bullish structure. So we still should be looking for the buys from this point. Okay, then you pushed up again, pretty much in that same area. So not as big of a bearish reaction. Possibly took all the orders from here, and that's what gave demand enough strength to push above. But I don't know for sure. I don't really follow UCAD like that. I just mark it up. So I saw other people marking it up a lot. So I wanted to see if I could see what they were seeing. So um, since I don't trade that often, simple setup, simple analysis, possible buys above. This should be continuous buys, not possible buys. Possible buys and impulse entries, continuation buys or breaks and retest entries. Continuation buys 26,627. Continuation sales below 25,843. And last but not least, Mr. Gold. Um, y'all already know I don't really trade gold. Price is pretty much for the most part bullish. Um, I thought I had a different analysis than this, but what I see is even highs. Price action pushed. This was the high, higher low, pretty much even higher, or you can consider a lower high. We pushed back down, did not break any structure looking left, so we still should have been looking for buys. Pushed back again into the highs, didn't break anything for the most part, then came back down, did not break any structure still, so still should have been looking for the buys. I would consider this effectively my smaller time frame effective higher low that pushed us into the highs. And then what you saw next was price action break that level and pretty much push and break the level that was before. So this right here is kind of starting to look like the structure is starting to shift, as you can see, lower lows and lower highs from that point. High, low, lower high. Not a new lower low, but potentially new lower high that did break this level, and that level. So when the market opens, I would like to see if price action is just going to stall out here. This is where price action took off before and pushed us into the highs. So we could potentially have the same type of setup here. Price goes bullish, or it could just be a reaction from here and it could just melt. You do have a clean range right over here from 1841 all the way down to 1822. You definitely can get active with, would I be, I guess, 200 pips on gold? However you calculate that. But I did have a different analysis on this. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Uh, Weekly retracement with no wick to fill, daily impulse bears, price action pushed into a demand zone, and now retracing. That should have been price action pushed into a supply zone because we moving up. Yeah, did that real quick. Price action pushed into a supply zone. Why is that a supply zone? Simply because like this price action high lows. This price action here is high highs and higher lows. Got up into this area, stalled out, reacted bearishly, pushed back up, could not create a new highs, and then it just melted. Breaking structure looking left. So this is where the supply came from that caused price action to start breaking structure looking left. And as you can see, lower highs and lower lows until this point over here, or actually down here, we had a breaking structure and we started back into an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. And current price action is back at that supply zone that previously gave us the gas that pushed us to the downside. So when you add the analysis back and you put it all together, all right, so you add it all together and you say, okay, let's see, since we have now pushed into that supply zone, what price action is going to give us. Are we going to start breaking bullish structure looking left and continue this downtrend, or are we going to stall out, let's see on the daily. Yeah, are we going to stall out? Potentially on the daily, we still got some room to come back down. For sure. Especially if you throw fibs on it, probably about 50% retrace somewhere up in here. This ghost level, but I like it for the shorts, especially if we close below 1841. So definitely keep your eye out for that. If you can get a strong impulse close below 1841, you definitely got some clean range back down to the 1820s. So if you like gold, if you get active with gold, there it is. I've been mashing up XRP all weekend. Got a nice little entry open right here. Let me see if I can point out some of the trades I had. This one, this buy from down here. I had a buy right here, put stops in profit immediately on that buy. Simply because there's this little demand here that kind of pushes back into the highs. But I had a buy limit right here originally, and it didn't enter me. Let me move this over because that's not what it's pretty into that. But I had a buy limit over here. It didn't enter me on market execution here. And as I saw price coming up, especially on the lower time frames, you know what I'm saying? We were pushing up strong, but the candle started closing with no wicks. And I was like, I'm out. That's enough for me. XRP moves very volatile. And once I see we got up here with no wick, yeah, prices and stops and break even. Original stops, I think, was below this candle here. Yeah, so we pretty much caught them two candles there and got out. And I had this buy limit originally. It came down 2 or 3 times and it didn't enter me. It wasn't until somewhere over here that price action actually entered me. So yeah, I need to go in and adjust these stops somewhere at least like right here. And yeah, price action is getting active to the upside. So I'm looking for a price to push all the way back into the highs. Break this retest structure. And I kind of can point out, what I was looking at as far as what made me want to enter from there. So previously, price action was bullish. We got the higher highs and higher lows. We got an impulse from up here, probably something looking left, probably pushing to a supply zone or something. We had a first break of structure with a retest pullback. And then as we started to come down choppy, this was our retest of the structure that we broke. And then we impulsed again, breaking another structure. We'll pull back, chop down, retest of the structure that we broke looking left. So what I saw was once price came down, once we retested that level that we broke, we did not have the gas like we had back in over here. So I was watching this from Friday, which is somewhere up in here. So control. Yeah, I was watching this from Friday, and I saw this bullish price action here pushing into that level. It did not really break anything, but at the same time, once it pushed into that level, it did not bearishly impulse back into the low. So on a lower time frame, what I saw was Higher highs and higher lows being created back into that level. And I saw this little choppiness here. And you know how I mark up with my Asian, my New York opens, my London opens. I had all that stuff marked up. I saw price action come down, but didn't really break any of my key structures back over here. So as soon as price action, I actually might have missed this one. This one might have been what gave me the confidence to take these over here. But yeah, I saw pricing come back down, kind of retest this little trend line that we had from the higher time frames, and then gave this big bullish impulse. And then I just started sitting back and waiting for price action to retest this little area here. And go back to 30 minutes, I can see that first entry. Yeah. So as we came back down and stalled out and started throwing wicks into that level there, that's why I took the market execution on those two candles and got out. And then I had the buy limit right up under there, but it didn't activate me until like way over here. So it opened up, was in some drawdown. I just let it run because I felt like we still, with this big ass impulse candle, we still had the probability of pushing up, and we haven't broken any high time frame structural lows. So I definitely was looking for the buys. I mean, it could turn around and melt. It could, but as of right now, the analysis is playing out. So I'm gonna let that run. Bitcoin. I was watching somebody mark Bitcoin up on YouTube. My lady, I think, had shorts from somewhere right over here. I was telling that I wanted shorts below, what was it, 57, 5 to, it was 50 something 24. I can't remember, but this price action had already played out. She was somewhere. Yeah, she was back in over here. She was trying to take a short from right here. No, it couldn't have been there because I told her that was a structure shift on the 1 hour. So it had to be somewhere over here. I was watching somebody on YouTube trade Bitcoin, and she was taking shorts from either right here or from right here. It had to be from up here because I wrote in the comments I wouldn't take the short because on the 1 hour you got a shift of structure. If you're marking it higher highs and higher lows, price has now closed above back over here, the lower high that gave you the new low. And I want to say she took a short from right there, and I told her I would wait. Well, it was like 57, 524, I think it was, that I would have confirmed to take shorts from that level. And as you can see, price action is pushing bullish. On order block right here. So I would like price action to get above 61,500 level to potentially get active. Otherwise, you still stuck in this range for price action to continue to still push bearish or just consolidate within that range. So you can keep your eyes out for that. Right now, price action impulsing to the highs. I'll wait for a little bit of exhaustion. Kind of play this, play out this little channel. What we got on my channel, baby? On my channel, baby. Play it around. You feel me? Something like a grid, man. Yeah, so kind of let that channel play out, see if it pushes all the way into the highs, or if it starts out at this midpoint and come back and touch that bottom for you, and see if you can get active that way. Other than that, I've been watching Shin Inibu. I think that's how you say that. Yeah, the price action is ugly right here. You had to break a structure that kind of looked like you was getting active back, getting ready to push back into the highs. But since we broke all this bearish structure, pushed into the highs, it's just been downtrending ever since. We have pushed back into the demand zone. You have gotten a reaction, but since that reaction, it has just been downtrending. So price can stay above here. Price can stay above here. Or it shows you any type of bullish impulse to the upside. This could be your area where price action takes off from. If not, then you already know supply is still stronger than demand, and you ain't got the gas just yet. So keep waiting. That's pretty much all I got for this one. Like, subscribe if you're watching. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the U.